What up? It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live from the App Stupid Studios. App like you got some sense. Smash the like and subscribe button. We like it when you do that here. Also, if you want to fund the madness directly, hit us up in the Cash App. That is $Vern Dollars. That's $Vern Dollars. DOLLAZ. Got a busy show for you today. Going to talk about Michael Jordan and the 1988 Defensive Player of the Year award that could be fake. And it could be fake, and there's evidence to support that. So they do bring receipts. Also, the whole Deion Sanders, Lil Wayne concert and the controversy that surrounds that. Go ahead and tell you why that is weird. Going to talk about coaches on the hot seat, CBS Sports in the NFL this year. Could they be done if they don't get it, if they don't get to the playoffs? And find out what I agree with in that article and what I think is BS. And many more stories to come. Again, this is Big Vern at App Stupid. Gonna go ahead and get into everything when we take a quick 10. Now let's take 20. From an unofficial sponsor of the show, Drop the Spot. Yes, I'm loving it. McDonald's. Download the app, order online, or visit the good folks at your local McDonald's. Gonna go ahead and jump into the Michael Jordan story. Let's just pull off the gloves and get it in. As these young kids say in the street, it's up. So, just leading the question from Tim Habersworth, asking, is Michael Jordan's 1987-1988 Defensive Player of the Year award fake? Now, those are my headlines. That's not his. That's full disclosure. But in Tim's piece, he tries to link LeBron James in on the conversation, like a lot of people do, which have me rolling my eyes. However, again, full disclosure, 1987, 1988, I was 11 years old. I was running around sneaking, listening to NWA and Too Short because of the cuss words. I was like, oh my God, cuss word raps. Because at that time, you know, it was like nuance to have someone cussing and rap. And listening to Too Short say every nasty, freaky thing he could say. And oh my goodness. It's hilarious to me that he's still around here doing shows and still around here cutting records. And if people are going to make fun of AC/DC for having 4 chords, you have to make fun of Too Short, because Too Short has the same format. It hasn't changed. It's like, I know this girl. Her name is Aunt. Biatch. Yeah, man. Too Short was wild. But let me set it up for you. MJ dominated the media. He was viewed as a gun back then. Now, what they mean is that you're just gonna shoot up a lot of balls, and that stood out to a lot of people because back in that era, it was all about the team sport, not the individual. Nobody actually singled out the individuals until you got to the Jordan era, where he took so many shots. So because Jordan took so many shots, a lot of the NBA sports writers at that time said he was focused on too much shooting and not enough defense. And he only had 2 playoff appearances where he was swept out of the playoffs by the Boston Celtics immediately. Now, Jordan, he was fighting to prove he was more than a scorer. He was a complete player. So he set his goals on winning that Defensive Player of the Year award, and that carried power, and it separated him from other legends like Magic, Kareem, also LeBron, even now, all these years later. And when I had to look at that, my head tilted a little bit. Now, honestly, this is me. I never really cared for Jordan. I never bought any of his merchandise. I never bought shoes, hats, whatever. I'm the kind of person, if I really don't rock with you, I'm not going to support it. I ain't got nothing bad to say about you. I just keep it moving. That's always been me. Now, Tim examines the home and road records that year and calls into question Jordan's stats and raises questions about its legitimacy. Now, the piece talks about Jordan being petty and him being left off one of the defensive players of 1987, 88, 86 and 87, excuse me. He lost that award to Michael Cooper from the LA Lakers. And he was like, yes, Cooper is good at ball denial, but look at his other stats. So Jordan was seething and he was petty because the following year, Jordan set out to actually win the Defensive Player of the Year honors, which he did. But how petty do you have to be to run at a guy who didn't have anything bad to say about you? He didn't have anything bad to say about you, and you went down that rabbit hole to put your mouth on that man because the writers viewed him as a better defender than you. And to prove it, that year, Michael Jordan only got one vote. But MJ, being who he is, and he took action behind him talking and hating and backbiting. And so in the 87-88 campaign, he openly admitted to chasing the record, telling the Chicago Tribune, and I quote, "I knew I was close, and I asked to find out what the record was. I was on a roll. I was going for it, reaching for everything." End quote. But was it legit? Was it legit? Now, stat keepers, everybody looking in here and wondering how we got to where we got. We only got here because of a guy named Alex Rucker. And he did a deep dive into that year and that award. He did a deep dive into that year and that award. And we'll get back into this when we come back from a quick 10 from one of the rap albums that we have picked out for this month, shining a light on these guys. Roll the spot. Yes, Razzcast in stores right now. Cop it where you legally consume music through Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. Songs that I love on here is Roll Call with Method Man. Everything is Gutter with Corrupt, Different, Lo-Fi, Stop Playing with Raekwon, and Old Soul. Razzcast, everything is Gutter. In stores now. So, if you're going to go ahead and talk about Michael Jordan and everything that's went on and how we got here with Alex Rucker, we look at Rucker's resume. Okay, so Rucker is currently the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club in Texas and was a top executive for the Philadelphia 76ers in 2020. Before that, he was a former stat keeper for the Vancouver Grizzlies. He was an employee during their inaugural season in 1995-1996. So he's credentialed. He made the claim that many box keepers were juicing the books, going on to say inflating numbers for the home team was a league-wide practice. Now, he gives some examples. 1995, Rucker was 19 years old working for the Vancouver Grizzlies. He went to a conference in Detroit with the so-called experts and looked at a clip of John Stockton getting an assist on a Karl Malone bucket, and things got weird. There was no casual connection between the pass and the basket. And so this is an indictment on all of these guys. It's an indictment on all of these guys. According to Rucker, the scorekeepers told him in no uncertain terms that it was an assist because it was John Stockton. Come on now. That don't even sound right. Wow. Crazy as hell. The game most of these chumps grew up on was fixed. Rucker went on to say, I left the clearly understanding that, yes, we are supposed to present the most accurate representation that we can, but the NBA is also an entertainment business, and it is up to us in very small part ways as stat tacticians to support and reinforce stars and excitement and fun. And that message was definitely reinforced internally within the Grizzlies organization. Period. The shit's WWE. and here's a guy who's feeding ESPN the info that they feed you. Yeah, y'all been eating rat poison for years. If it wasn't true, then when Yahoo reached out to the NBA and the league office, they declined to comment on Rucker's assertions. The Grizzlies, who moved to Memphis in 2001, declined to comment for the story because this shit is fake. You are invested in a fake game, and they give out these stats to go ahead and prop up these legends, allegedly. Now, this is verbatim. Subjective stats, primarily blocks, steals, and assists, and sometimes rebounds, were a way to give star treatment if a player tried to block a shot or a ball fell short. Many would give him the benefit of the doubt on a 50-50 play. If a pass was deflected, one defender and recovered by another, choose wisely as to which defender to award the steal. Assists were a thing of beauty left to the eye of the beholder. To Rucker, it was an unspoken part of the NBA's marketing machine, a way to get SportsCenter in front of a national audience and grab attention. So I just mentioned beforehand what they were doing, and it was actually supported by Rucker in his comments. You see how that goes? I never even met this dude. I don't know him from Adam. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I didn't even Google what this dude looked like. But I knew the play. So they played y'all's ass. That's it. They gave out these fantasy numbers to get on SportsCenter and market the league with its number one star at that time was Michael Jordan. And I know y'all sitting here like, oh man, you don't like Mike. You got something bad to say about Mike. Man, I ain't got nothing bad to say about that damn man. I don't know him. I'm not in that man's personal life like that. I'm just looking at the evidence of the home bias showed up across the league, most dramatically in the 1980s and 1990s. In the 80s, the home teams annually registered 800 more blocks and 450 more steals than the road team league-wide per basketball referee tracking. In the Jordan era, media members weren't able to put the microscope on the home/road disparities. Whether it was for Jordan or other star players in the late 80s, there was no internet, no social media pressure to get things right, no public system of accountability. Breaking out his numbers into game locations, we find out that Jordan averaged a mind-boggling 4 steals and 2.1 blocks at home, but on the road, those numbers shrunk to a more normal 2.1 steals and 1.2 blocks. Now, nobody is doubting the ability of Michael Jordan in any of this article, because that would be disingenuous. But what they are saying is that they were cooking the books to get him the stats and to get him the recognition that he was looking to garner. And the NBA is an entertainment company, so they were selling you entertainment. That's what they're saying. Jordan's steals and blocks nearly doubled at home compared to the road. To account for possible uneven playing time, effects were they look at per 36-minute numbers for a true portrayal of the phenomenon. Jordan combined blocks and steal numbers, stocks, were a whopping 82% higher at home, 5.5 stocks per 36 minutes, and on the road down to 3.0. The size of Jordan in 1987-88 gap is unprecedented, dating back to the 1982-1983 when the award was established. Jordan's home versus away disparities in combined blocks and steals represent the largest of any defensive player in the history of the award in the NBA. Again, what you were watching is fake. The numbers that they were inflating at home versus on the road to kind of give Jordan the star treatment is one thing. Now, is this vindication in a lot of ways for guys like Isaiah Thomas? Yeah, because at that time, Jordan was on the rise and they called it the Michael Jordan rule. And it was more than basketball. It turns out it was way more than basketball. What Zeke was talking about was league wide. No other instance in the awards history has a player shown a disparity that touched 160% except for Jordan's 87-88 season, which clocked at 182%. They were cooking the books to give you the legends they wanted you to have. According to stathead.com, Jordan posted 165 steals at home, by far the most in the NBA, compared to just 94 on the road. That's tied for fourth. The gap of 71 steals blew away the competition, with the next largest gap among the top 15 league leaders in steals being 47. Though Jordan didn't lead the league in blocks, a similar trend emerges in that key defensive category. Jordan's 84 blocks at home ranked 8th most in the league, a high, unusual place to find a guard. On the road, his total was 47, and he fell all the way down to 21st. That's where he tied a more reasonable rung on the ladder for someone his size. So this is what you're seeing right now. When he's at home, we got to give him everything that he's looking for, because when he goes out on the road, he's just an average dude. Again, a look at Jordan's game log is telling. Of Jordan's 10 games, at least 4 blocks of the season, 9 of them came at Chicago. The Phenom seems isolated to this particular season. Examining Jordan's career, the 6-time champion showed a disparity in home versus road stats in the third season in the 1986-87, but it doesn't hold a candle to that 1987-88 season surge, and it showed in the home stats. This is a good article, and if Rucker wasn't telling the truth, the NBA declined to talk about it, and also you had the Memphis Grizzlies. They declined to even acknowledge anything that was going on. So when you have this award that sets Michael Jordan above the Kareems, the Magics, the Birds, and all these other guys that you compare Michael Jordan to, or they compare Michael Jordan to these guys, they fall back on that Defensive Player of the Year award. And now you find out that is fake and fairy tale-ish. Like I say, we got a lot more show to go. But, hey, look, are you hurt that you find out now that Michael Jordan is propped up? I don't know, but we'll get to the bottom of it. This is Big Vern.